Okay, so getting back to the build, we have our four walls already. What I'm going to need to do, though, as you can see, they are very warped. So I am going to need to put a long piece bracing across all four walls, like Vinny showed, to straighten those out. Okay. But before we can do that, what I need to do is to figure out where my people door, my windows, and the garage door are going to be. Been trying to figure out how I want to situate it on the layout, and that will, pretty much determine what I'm going to do. With the people door, let me move it over here so you can see. With the people door, you see the ones that I got come with a transom. Don't know if I'm going to use the transom or not, and the jamb, or just go straight with the door itself. The windows can be situated either that way or horizontally, because they are not double hung windows. So in keeping with the idea of making this a mid-century style building, I'm thinking that the windows should be placed in a horizontal position like that. So first thing to do is going to be to determine where I want to put them, and then we'll mark it up and we'll get ready to cut those entrances and windows. Okay, so I've come up with a rough idea of where I want the windows and the people door. So this would probably be facing the viewer from the layout, because this is going to be a foreground structure at this point in time. That may change, but as I rotate this, I'll show you what I decided for the rest of the walls. For the shipping wall, where the garage door is, I'm going to go with a plain wall. I may add a people door. Not quite sure yet, because as we're looking at it from this side, the people door will be in the far corner over there, and then we'll turn it around, and this will be what is facing the tracks, and just going with the line of the windows across the back. And we'll keep one wall blank where we can do our electrical service and any plumbing, stuff like that. Okay, so next thing will be is to take all of these openings and the windows and the doors and transfer them to the back of the styrene. And once I'm satisfied with placement and where I have them drawn out, then I'll go ahead and cut them. Okay, so one tip that I do want to show, I don't know if you can see it, if this will show up or not, but I've marked what was the front, what was the sides, and I put little numbers in very lightly in each corner, so that when I go to assemble the building, you see that the numbers will line up with each other. So this is right here, we have, I believe that is side 3, so we'll match that up with number 3. So that way everything will, when I assemble it, everything will remain where I wanted it. Transferring everything to the back, I need to lay out my lines now, center lines for where these are going to go. Remember, since I'm cutting on the back, I have to reverse where the actual doors and windows are going to go. So now I need to just sit down, take my scale rule, and figure out height and where I want the windows to be, draw those out, and once I got them drawn out, I'll show you that. Now, the reason I am not putting the brace in yet is because I don't know where the windows are going to go. and I need the brace to be one solid piece, more or less along the center line of the walls to straighten out the warp. Okay, thank you. All right, so I don't know how well you'll see this, but what I did was I traced out the outline of the door, and when I measured it, I moved the one wall in just slightly. So when I cut, I'm going to cut on the inside of the line, which will give me enough room that I can actually file to make sure that the door fits snugly and that I don't cut it too wide. Now for window placement, let me get back on my here. So let me take the window and I'll show you what I'm doing here. I took and I made a line that is 3/4 of an inch down from the roof. And that line is going to be the center line that I'm going to place the second row of mullions on, if you're counting from the bottom. So that will then give me my straight for where I am going to place the windows. And that way I have my proper height from the base of the building up to where I want the height of the window. And now that gives me a center line. Well, not actually a center line because I'm going to be offsetting the windows, but it'll give me a reference line on where I can line up my windows to trace around them, so I know where my cuts are going to be. And then that way also I know on the backside or track side of the building, when I put my row of 3 windows across there, like I have here, that I will be measuring again 3/4 of an inch down from what will be the top. And then that way my windows will be uniform across the building. Sorry about the shaking, guys. I just want to put a quick interjection in at this point while I square up where I'm putting my first window. Let me tell you, the pink eraser is your best freaking friend. You know, if it weren't for that, this model would be probably off about a half a bubble in alignment. So that, and you need to keep, not only do you need to keep a sharp hobby knife, okay? Don't worry about the cost of the blades. You can go to Walmart, get a set of the number 1s inexpensively. I think I got 8 or 10 of them for like $2. But you also need to keep your scribe pencil sharp. If you don't, your lines that you're going to draw are going to be a little too wide for you. And when you go to make your cuts, you can actually make your lines a little too wide. And when you go to measure, everything will be out just a little bit. So that's another tip. Okay, so I have my front entrance, windows, and door marked out. And let me tell you something, people. The fact that this styrene piece is warped has made this a hell of a thing to do. Yeah, just a heads up. Makes measuring a pain in the ass, if I could say that. Well, I already did, so hope I didn't offend anybody, but if I did, all right. So like I said, I used the 3/4 of an inch down as my mark for the top mullions on the windows that are going to go in. So we're going to sit down now. I'm going to put a fresh blade in my X-Acto knife, and we're going to cut this wall out. All right. So I have my piece of plastic in the clamp down. I'm going to use the straight edge as my guide. So Vinny, thanks again for showing us this. It's a big help on keeping your cuts straight. So we made the first cut on the door, but now I want to show you what I'm doing. I'm going to line this one up so that the pencil mark is just above the edge of the ruler. Thereby, I'm going to cut the opening undersize, because we can always take away, but we can't add. So that way I can then just take my files and we can make the door cuts that much nicer, and when everything's up, we'll get a nice fit. Okay, so you can see that I got the door cut out, and now I'm working on the windows. And what I did was I lined up both of the top of the windows to make my initial cut, so that way they are all on the same plane. Sorry again about the shaking. So we'll make those cuts next, and we'll try and knock these windows out. Just wanted to show you what I was doing. I made the 2 horizontal cuts for the upper and the lower cuts on the windows, but I just wanted to show you how I'm squaring things up. I'm taking my triangle, and since I know that my tops and bottoms are square, I'm using that to square up these vertical cuts that I'm now going to make for the windows. So I'm going to square up this, and you can see that I'm not quite square. Sorry, let me get back onto it. I'm all over the place. All right, so as you can see, I'm not exactly 100% square on that, so I'll have to adjust that. And then we'll take the triangle, we'll flip it around, and then we'll also double check our square on this side. And then once I'm all set up, then I'll make my vertical cuts, and I'll do that for the next 4 cuts. Okay, thanks. All right, so there you have it. There are my cuts. I need to clean them up a little bit. This door is not 100% square. I have to clean up the one side. Gonna have to clean up the windows a little bit, make them fit. I may end up having to get some really fine styrene and frame them out, because I think I'm gonna have a little bit of a gap at the top of the one, but I am very happy with the way they came out. And also, I got some decent scrap pieces for later. Hey, take them, turn them this way, and all of a sudden I got roll-up doors. So there you go. Don't throw anything out. All right, so this is as far as I'm going to take this video, and I'll talk to you later. And thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Like, dislike, comment, ring the bell, subscribe. Appreciate everything. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check out these great YouTube channels.